Hi, I'm Judith Monroe and this is my studio, and in this video I'm going to show you how I start my mixed media pieces. So the first thing that I do is I set out all of the panels that I'm going to work on my work table. I put them on pieces of wood to raise them up because if I don't, I have found that I glue my panels to the table. That's not fun. So the next thing that I'm going to do, these are wood panels, and I'm just going to start by preparing the surface by putting gesso on them. And gesso is like primer, works really well, and it's the first step. So this is going to take a little time, and I'm just going to do the whole time lapse thing because otherwise it's going to be really boring. So you may have been wondering what in the world I was doing with this finished piece on a table with all the pieces I'm starting. And the answer is I'm going to start fresh. And there's lots of times I have just completely obliterated what's underneath with gesso, but this time I'm going to do something I haven't tried before because, you know, why not do that on video? But I do this kind of thing when I'm creating pieces. I will use watered down gesso, so thinned with water, to partially obliterate. And this is a good place to start because I figure I want this fairly obliterated, and that looks too thick to me. So it's all right. To like partially obliterate what's here already. And then I will fully obliterate, yes, I am, some of what's here. And I'm wondering if it's my brush that I'm not. Alright, because I usually do it. Oh yeah, check it out. Alright, so some of this I'm going to, some is definitely going to be completely obliterated, and some of this I just want to push it back. So the first thing I'm going to do is just kind of add the first thin layer, and this will happen all over. This brush is a little small, but that's okay, you know? And this is why I have a table that's protected. So, one of the things, the ways that I work is I very often start without much of a plan. Like, I will have a vague idea of what I want to do, but the plan or what I decide to do happens as it happens. I mean, I will get to a place where I'm planning more. Like right now, I don't even know what image I want, what new image I want to put on this piece. I do have a vague idea that I'm gonna do a square in the square here. But like for these other pieces, the long skinny pieces that are on the table, the ideas that I have right now for them are that some of them are going to be vertical and some are going to be horizontal, and the way they landed on the table, I'll probably do 3 verticals and 2 horizontals. Plus I like that feel. Maybe that's why I put them on the table that way, subconsciously. So a lot of times things just evolve as it happens. I'll get more of an idea. I'll go ahead and make videos, and you can see the whole process as it happens. I already know I'm going to be using still life, some of my recent still life images for these pieces. So that's in the general plan category. So now I've got this piece covered in some way. And I'm actually really liking, like, the parts of this piece that I always really liked were the pieces around the image. I mean, I liked the image at the time, but the more it hung around, and this piece has hung around for a while, several years, and so the parts that I always liked, I didn't want to completely, you know, throw away, so to speak. But I'm gonna go ahead and totally obliterate this right here. And I'm gonna try to go with a more organic shape here than this rectangle. I don't really want it to be completely obvious what was here. In fact, I will come back and add texture to blend this. You can see there's like texture on other parts of this panel, and where this image was, there's now not so much texture. I mean, there's not, it's very smooth, because that was actually a darkroom print. So way underneath this piece now, there'll be this silver gelatin print, which is the more technical term for those of you who are not familiar. But at this point now, it's just gonna have to dry. I want that to be. Of course, I'd have to stop to let it dry. This is where, you know, not planning. All right. So, gesso has dried, and I am going to now put texture on all of these panels. I'm going to use modeling paste. It's acrylic modeling paste, and it's gooey. It's kind of like soft icing. And again, I'm not really planning anything at the moment. I just want some texture. do some kind of different things with it. I'm not sure if I'll keep that or not. And one of the things I use texture for is it's how I put my signature in pieces. So down here in this corner here on this one, I'm gonna let it kind of set up a little bit first. And it takes it a while to actually dry. So I can make different textures with my palette knife. And then I will put my signature in there. So again, I'll do the rest of this with time lapse. Show you a little bit of what that texture looks like. I've got a light set up so that it's hitting it, and especially when it's wet like this, I always think it's super cool how that texture looks. And it'll just be more visual interest in the finished piece. This piece gets its own special, it's got texture on it already, but I want to like blend what's already going on with what's with the new stuff. It also helps hide the helps hide the image that's underneath. Sometimes it's really hard to talk and concentrate at the same time. I'm not always really good at that. So my idea is not to just completely try to disguise it, all of the edges, but enough to take the like just enough to disrupt enough of the edges. And then what's going on visually will disrupt those images as well in the final piece. And it'll be one of those things that unless you know what to look for, you won't really see that there's things underneath, except where I want you to. So, it's been a good day. I've got a good start on this table full of pieces, and I will be continuing to document the process. Meanwhile, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks.